The second your video loads, people judge you, and if they don't like what they see, they're going to leave, and you're never going to generate views and sales. But that doesn't mean you need to spend a ton of cash on production kit to make an amazing first impression. And I know this because I've made millions from my videos using just this battered old tiny light. So in this video, I'm going to give you my really simple production system that I've been using for years to film videos that are going to instantly level up the first impression you give your viewers so that your ideal clients watch you for longer and turn to buyers faster. Okay, so to start, we just need to look at the common misconception about video quality. And that is, one person's going to tell you it really matters and that you should make videos that kind of look like mine, right? And then one is going to say it doesn't matter and you should make videos that look like this. The truth is, we're all completely wrong, but also right at the same time, because there is just no broad one-size-fits-all YouTube advice for your production quality that's going to work for everyone. Viewers want different things. Instead, what you have to do is figure out what level of production works for your viewers based on your weak spots. And to do that, you're going to use this chart. So what you can see here are 4 pillars. And to get results on YouTube, all you need to do is get 3 of 4 of them above what I call the high quality line. And when you do that, you won't turn viewers off. So pillar 1, this is your presenting ability, basically how well you come across on camera. Pillar 2 is your communication ability. This is how easy you make things to understand. Pillar 3 is your production quality, just the visuals. And pillar 4 is your credibility. This is basically coming across as an expert fast. So this is Chris Do. He's a multimillionaire. He's got loads of followers and he has taught for so long. He is just a world-class expert on his topic. But not only that, he's an expert in communicating and he can present at an amazing level. What that means is Chris's chart looks like this. So these 3 pillars are super high. And what that means is he could cut back a ton on the 4th, production quality, if he wanted, and just make a video of nothing other than him riffing for 20 minutes over a Google Doc. And that could still grow his following and business because of his sheer brilliance. But this is Steve's chart. Steve, unfortunately, decided to follow the advice of presenting a scrappy looking video from a Google Doc. And the thing is, his chart looks like this. He is credible, sure, but he's never presented before. So this pillar is just rock bottom and he's never really worked out how to simplify his information so others can understand it that well. So his communication pillar is not great too. What that means is if he keeps his production quality low, he just stands no chance. The thing is, when it comes to YouTube, most people start with a chart that looks like this, and getting presentation and communication and credibility above that line, it could take ages, 50 videos maybe. So the fastest one to fix and level up is production quality. So looking at this, you can work out, well, do I need to make any changes? And if you think you need to raise a pillar fast, continue to watch the video because now I'm going to give you the world's simplest system to level up this column fast. All right, so step 1 is all about this. So what you can see on screen right now is I'm in the same environment, yet the vibe and quality, it looks so different, right? And the only thing that has changed is the light. No light makes me look pretty drab and boring. Putting the light straight in front of me kind of removes that moody feeling. Switching the light behind me to white instead of warm, and then opening my curtains gives this video a totally different vibe too. I quite like that, it looks all right. So you first want to invest in just a light, but it doesn't have to be like a $2,000 beast. For 18 months, I lived in Airbnbs and I was traveling the world, and the only light I could fit in my bag was this thing. Meaning all of these videos that you can see on screen right now are produced using the same system I'm going to show you, but with this one battered old light. But would I buy that? Well, no. I only had that because I was a homeless man who couldn't fit anything else in my bag. But now I'm not a bum, I use this thing. It's got this big softbox on it, and what that means is it makes my image look much softer and a lot more pro. So if you have the space, I would highly recommend getting what's called a cob light like this with a softbox you put on it. And then I just put it here. So the light's hitting my face, and what that's doing is it's putting some shadow on the opposite side, which kind of gives me this nice cinematic look. That's it, right? There. And if you don't like that, well, you can just put the light behind the camera, pointed flat at your face instead. And that's all I have done in these examples you can see on screen. Just had one light there, which brings us on to step 2. So which of these videos on screen right now was shot on a $5,000 camera, and which one was shot on a 10-year-old camera that once had an entire pint of beer spilt on it, so all the buttons are stuck down and broken? Well, the pros can probably tell the difference, but I kind of struggle if I'm honest, and that's because the light is the thing that levels up a camera's quality so much. And can still make a 10-year-old beer-stained camera look amazing. So don't go and buy a new camera. Only upgrade after you've got a new light, and don't do what I did and spend $5,000 on a camera, because it is complete overkill when an old Sony a6 500 can do a very similar job. Now, a lot of my clients use this thing on screen. I believe it's called the Sony EV10. If I've got that wrong, I'll change it in text. And if I'm honest, it looks so good. I'm not sure anyone else needs much more to get this system to work. Really, all that matters is you have a camera that can create like a bit of a blurred background, and you're going to find out why in a minute. Which brings us on to step 3. So have you ever been invited to someone's house and walked in and gone, oh my gosh, this person lives in an absolute pigsty, what a tip. And you kind of want to leave, right? Because you're worried there's a rat infestation. Well, your videos have the same effect if your background is a complete mess. So when it comes to your backdrop, all we really need to do is something that firstly doesn't give that messy, disgusting home feeling, but also secondly doesn't distract people so they listen to you. We don't want them going, oh, they've got some pink wafer biscuits in the background, I like them, because they'll stop listening to your video. But this doesn't mean you have to go and build a really fancy studio straight away, especially if you're not sure you're even going to be doing YouTube for the long term. Instead, what I think most people should do is what I did when I was homeless and lived in Airbnbs, because I had to come up with new sets every month as I changed location. Now at the start, I was getting really frustrated having spent hours trying to figure out what the best look was. But after a few months, I realized I could always make something high quality so long as I stuck to a few time-saving rules of creating a set. Rule number 1 was to not try and do anything fancy and just to go, is there anything that would just work as a backdrop straight away? Like, what's kind of interesting? This Airbnb was the only option available for hire, and it was horrific. And I thought, there's no way I can film in here. It looks awful. But it had this like big black image of buildings on the wall, so I shot against that, and it looks pretty good, right? And then in this place, the kitchen had this cool black textured effect, so I shot the breakfast bar in front of it. That's actually a fridge behind me, and there's a sink to my right there too. This place is just a hotel room in Ibiza, and I just shot at the foot of my bed. I'm literally slammed up against the bed there. I just have the sofa and the TV behind me. And right now, believe it or not, one sec, let me show you. This is my kitchen sink. I can literally reach all my dirty washing from that. Illusion ruined. But it's not just me with this kind of like, I'll just film in my house setup thing. If you look, you can see Niche has generated millions of views, filming in what looks like a home office. Daya seems to be filming in a living room. And that's why I think a camera that allows you to create this kind of blur effect behind you is important, because it will hide all the imperfections and it can help make anything look more slick when you combine it with one good light. But sometimes there wasn't a backdrop that was acceptable in these Airbnbs. So I came up with rule number 2, which required a little bit more work, but not that much. And that was, I would just go to a plain wall, I'd set up my camera and my light in the exact same way I've shown you, and then I'd just slide some stuff into the background. So here, the Airbnb had this dark wall. So I slid in a plant to one side and then a light that was lying around to the other to keep it nice and symmetrical, and that's it. And if you look at Mark Tilbury, pretty sure he just has like a fake wooden wall there and a plant to one side and a jukebox to the other. It's really minimal and he gets millions of views. So not having a cool set really shouldn't stop you making content, because you probably have one that's good enough just ready and waiting. Which brings us on to step 4. So one thing that can really wreck a video is if it sounds awful. Now, traditionally, people spend forever soundproofing their sets and their studios so they can remove echo and have this crisp noise coming out of their mouth. But when you're a homeless man living in Airbnbs, you can't do that, because Airbnbs are often about minimal soft furnishings. So every room is just a nightmare for echo. So the first thing I did to get around this was I just used a mic like this. These mics pick up way less echo, whereas the mics you clip on to your t-shirt pick up a ton. The thing is, when I was homeless moving around, I broke this mic, so it hisses all of the time. But instead of getting a new one, because I'm so flipping cheap, all I do is put the audio into Adobe's AI audio fixer, and it removes the echo and the hiss and makes it way better. So I just use a broken mic. So before you go nailing a ton of sponges to your wall and worry about echo and sound, just don't buy anything and try out the AI fixer. Which brings us on to step 5, which is going to stop you hitting record and watching the footage back and going, fucking God, no, when you realize it's all out of focus and that the battery died halfway through. Now, on many cameras, you have a little screen you can flip around just to check you're in focus and that your battery hasn't died. But it's pretty far away from me. And when I'm presenting, I'm in the zone, so I don't notice the battery dies and suddenly the screen turns off. So all I do is I plug my camera into my laptop using one of these. This is called a Camlink. And then I turn on Zoom, the free video calling platform. I start a meeting, and then I basically have myself on screen, and my laptop becomes a giant monitor, which is one reason why I always have it in shot now. But you don't have to have it in shot. You could leave the laptop out of shot too, and you've still got it there. It's much easier. Now, this next step is optional, but hang on, let me show you the difference it makes. All right, just turn that light off You see how I suddenly look a little bit less like 3D and slick? And that's because, wait, I'll turn it back on. So that light there, just pointing at like the back of my head, this is known as a hair light. It kind of separates you from the background. But what makes it level up your content a little bit more is, look, I have these lights right behind me. And what this hair light does is, it makes it look like the lights that are on my wall are actually casting onto the back of my head. So it adds depth without feeling really fake. So if you do have space and you can be bothered, you can put a hair light on. The thing is, once you've shot this, you then need to edit it to make sure you don't do anything that puts buyers off there. So watch this video next, where I'm going to show you the simplest editing system in the world, even a beginner could do, and it's helped me make millions.